Night 19. Everyone arrives to Reveille camp and Ivy and Tanner hug, relieved by the previous outcome. Tanner immediately apologizes for keeping his idol a secret from her and Adriana. He says he got the idol from Cave of Exile in the second swap and was told it couldn't be used until Merge started. Ivy tells him she doesn't care that much that he kept it hidden because she understands everyone is playing for themselves in some way. She's just glad they were able to take out Eric because she really did not trust him around Adriana. Allison comforts Karen as Karen cries, upset that Tanner made the jury phase. She doesn't know how to move forward because clearly the Alliance doesn't want to vote him out. Allison holds on to Karen's shoulders and looks dead into her eyes. She tells her she is willing to make a move at this point because she doesn't feel safe around Tanner, Ivy, and Adriana. Karen agrees and says they really needed Tanner gone tonight. Allison says they still have another crack at him next tribal. They just need to convince Boo Boo and Anna so they have the numbers. With the Merge idol rehidden, Sarah stumbles across it as she heads for bed. She quickly picks it up, realizing it's an idol. She hides it in her bedroll and camps around it for a bit. Meanwhile, Karen talks with Boo Boo, telling him she and Allison agreed it's time to get Tanner out for good next tribal. Boo Boo says he doesn't know if it is smart to break the Alliance yet because they still have many wildcards in the game. Those include Kaden, Jaya, Sarah, and Mark. Karen rolls her eyes and tells him they can't play safe anymore. It's Survivor, so you need to take big risks. However, Boo Boo isn't convinced and simply says if she convinces Anna to flip, he will too. Sarah and Jaya chat, and Sarah nervously laughs about Tanner's idle play. Jaya says she thought she was going home as soon as he used it, but to her surprise, Eric got more votes than him anyway. Sarah tells her that they need to make sure their next shot at Tanner lands because they cannot afford to miss again. They will lose another valuable number if they miss. Adriana and Ivy talk about Tanner's previous idol play. Adriana doesn't know how to feel because Tanner kept it hidden from them. She assumes it was the Merge idol, but Ivy fills her in that he got it since the second swap. Adriana raises her eyebrows in reaction to that and suddenly has this hatred for Tanner. She tells Ivy that Tanner begged her to use her idol on him during the Romero vote-off, and yet he had the idol the whole time. Ivy then tells her to chill out because his idol was inactive until Merge, but Adriana doesn't care as he still never told her about his idol after that tribal. Ivy says there's no point to beef about it because Tanner is loyal to them. Day 20. Everyone arrives to the mat for the reward challenge. In this, everyone will attend their own grill. The goal is to cook beans the fastest. The first person to properly cook their beans first will win reward. The winner will head to a local boba shop where they can enjoy boba and other desserts. The challenge begins, and Boo Boo and Ivy are off to a fast start, already mixing their beans in their pot. On the other hand, Jaya struggles as she can only use one arm. Meanwhile, Mark accidentally burns his hand after touching the rim of the pot. Sarah moves on to seasoning her beans, ahead of many other people. Jaya struggles even more, making a mess at her grill as the contents start to pop in her face. Even though this challenge requires a steady pace, Kaden tries to rush through it and stirs aggressively, making a bit of a mess around him. In the end though, Boo Boo finishes his beans before everyone else, meaning Boo Boo wins reward in the form of boba. Everyone claps for Boo Boo and Justin then tells him he has a decision to make. He can pick 3 other people to take with him onto this reward. Everyone is surprised and stare at Boo Boo. He then decides to take Tanner, Anna, and Adriana with no reason provided. They stand next to him and thank him. Justin tells everyone else to head back to camp and lets Boo Boo, Tanner, Anna, and Adriana know they can head to the boba shop where he'll serve them boba and desserts. At the reward, all 4 arrive to the boba shop and see Justin attending the counter. They all order off of the menu and Justin makes them their desired drinks. They all eventually sit down at a table with their drinks and start chatting. Boo Boo starts off by saying he wants this group to be the final four. That's mainly why he chose the three of them. He wouldn't mind Ivy coming with them, but her relationship with Mark lately has made him worried. They are in-laws anyway. Anna agrees and says her main goal right now is to pick off the wild cards, such as Caden, Jaya, Sarah, and Mark. Adriana and Tanner both nod and say they are willing to stick to that. Tanner adds that even though Karen has been trying to take him out, as long as Hoop Eye sticks together, he's not worried about her so much. He knows she'll probably try to vote him out again, but she won't succeed as long as they have the numbers to take someone else out. Anna says that Caden has to go next in that case because he's a bigger threat from the rest. Boo Boo agrees and says that they should probably split the vote between him and Jaya next tribal in case of an idle play. They all agree and start sipping on their delicious boba drinks. At Reveille Camp, Karen talks to Mark to see if he's willing to vote Tanner out this time since he decided not to last tribal. Mark says it's complicated because they clearly don't have control over the vote. Hoop Eye has more power than them, which means if he makes it clear he's anti-Wopai, he risks his own position in the game. Karen tells him that there are Hoop Eye people who want Tanner out, including Caden and Allison. Mark says he'll think on it. Meanwhile, Allison talks with Caden, trying to convince him it's time to take out Tanner. Caden says he's 100% on board because he's on the chopping block himself anyway. Allison says they have the numbers as long as Anna and Boo Boo also vote him. She then gets closer to him and begins to whisper to him. She tells him that there are rumors going around that Ivy and Mark are aligned, so he should use that as ammo to convince people like Anna and Boo Boo to flip on the group of Tanner, Ivy, and Adriana. Caden nods and says he'll do what he can to make this flip happen. Ironically, Mark and Ivy talk with each other during that conversation. Ivy tells him he's in a solid spot right now because people are mainly looking at Tanner, Caden, and Jaya as targets right now. Mark smiles and says he's very happy she's been keeping him safe lately. He truly thinks it's in their best interest to reach Final 3 together since they are both playing for Selena. Ivy smiles and gives him a hug. She never thought the two of them would link up after their disastrous past. Allison continues making her move, talking to Jaya and Sarah about the Tanner vote plan. She tells them they have the numbers to take out Tanner as long as they stick together. Sarah and Jaya are both excited since they want him out next too. He doesn't have an idol anymore, so they don't need to worry about it too much. Allison says the only thing in their way might be Adriana's idol, but she doesn't think Adriana will waste her idol on someone like Tanner. Sarah asks Allison if Boo Boo and Anna are aligned with Tanner, and Allison says it's fairly complicated because Boo Boo will only do whatever Anna wants. So, if Anna wants Tanner to stay, Boo Boo will never vote Tanner out. Sarah mocks Boo Boo, calling him a sheep. Jaya doesn't respect Boo Boo because he's not playing for himself and it's fairly annoying. Allison agrees and says they will need to hope Anna is on side for this plan. Night 20. All four people come back from the Boba reward. Karen approaches them and hugs Anna. She asks all four how the reward was, and they tell her they enjoyed it a lot. It gave them a burst of energy they never experienced the last 20 days of this game. Meanwhile, Allison, Sarah, and Caden huddle, telling each other this is their chance to talk with Anna. Caden hopes this works out in their favor because he doesn't want to get out yet. Allison tells him not to worry because if they can all pressure Anna, they should be able to get their way. Karen and Jaya pull Anna aside and fill her in on this plan to take Tanner out. Anna is hesitant to speak her mind since Jaya is present. She asks them what numbers they have, and Karen says they have the three of them, Allison, Sarah, and Caden. If they can get Boo Boo as well, they have 7 votes. Anna says if that's the case, they can go through with this plan then. Karen smiles and thanks her for agreeing to this plan. Allison fills in Boo Boo that it's clear Anna is on board with the Tanner plan, but Boo Boo says he wants to hear it from Anna before he decides on anything. Allison becomes frustrated with him and tells him that Karen got confirmation from Anna that the plan is a go. Boo Boo still refuses to believe anything until he hears it from Anna herself because he doesn't want to look like an idiot if she's lying. It's becoming clear to Allison now that Boo Boo will only ever stay loyal to Anna, which begins to worry her for the long term. Allison speaks with Anna alone, asking her to tell Boo Boo that they are going through with the Tanner vote. However, Anna says she can't do it because it's too soon to flip on Tanner, Adriana, and Ivy. Allison's jaw drops and says that Karen filled her in that she was good with the plan. But Anna says that she didn't want to be truthful in front of Jaya during that conversation. Allison starts to panic, telling her that this is their chance to take out a major threat to their game. It's not good for them if Tanner stays any longer since it means Karen will go even crazier. Anna sighs and says she cannot go through with this plan as it's going to hurt them going forward. As everyone heads to bed, Adriana, who is extremely frustrated with Tanner's antics lately, kicks down the trash bin in anger. She can't respect him for keeping his idol hidden from her and Ivy. She feels like he tried to use her for her idol during the Romero vote. She would have looked like an idiot if she really did waste the idol on him. As Adriana rants to herself, some people wake up and watch Adriana as she continuously kicks the bin in rage. Day 21, and it's time for the immunity challenge. Ivy hands back her necklace to Justin and he begins to explain the rules. This challenge is the iconic treadmill challenge where players must continuously run on their treadmill until they tire out. The last person standing on their treadmill without ever stopping will win individual immunity, safe from the vote. Everyone begins to run on their treadmills, and many minutes pass with all 11 still remaining strong. After 20 minutes of this challenge, Anna is the first to stop, making her the first eliminated from this challenge. Some more time passes, and Karen comes in 10th. 9 people remain strong in this challenge. Mark decides to show off his athletic ability and makes this challenge 10 times harder for him as he lifts the ramp up. Meanwhile, Ivy almost trips but saves herself by placing her feet on the sides. Unfortunately, that means she is eliminated. Allison also eventually stops, placing 8th in this challenge. Not too long after, Sarah is also too tired to continue, and so is Tanner. Only 5 remain. Boo Boo, Adriana, Jaya, Caden, and Mark are all fighting for immunity. Much time passes, and Caden gives up as he's too tired to continue. Adriana also eventually stops, leaving just 3 people in this challenge. Boo Boo eventually gets off his treadmill, meaning this is all coming down to Jaya and Mark. Jaya gives in and congratulates Mark for beating her, meaning Mark is the winner of the immunity challenge. Justin places the necklace on him and reminds everyone that someone will become the 10th person voted out and the first member of the jury tonight. He tells them all to head back to camp, and so they do. Back at camp, Allison warns Caden that the plan isn't as simple anymore because Anna is now backing away from the plan to vote out Tanner. Caden bites his nails, nervous he might go home. He then suggests they change the plan and try to stack votes on someone else who might get votes, someone like Jaya. But Allison tells him it's not ideal for them to do that. They can still try to beat the split vote between him and Jaya and get just enough votes to eliminate Tanner. Tanner talks with Boo Boo, asking him how the split plan will go. Boo Boo says that him, Adriana, and Allison will vote Jaya as a 3. That means everyone else will do Caden. It doesn't matter who Caden, Jaya, and Sarah vote. Tanner nods and feels comfortable with this plan. Karen and Anna chat and Karen asks her if she's actually voting for Tanner tonight or not. Anna holds her wrist and tells her it's very difficult to separate game from emotions. She understands it's tough for Karen to live with Tanner, but game-wise it makes 0 sense to cut ties with Adriana and Ivy so soon. Karen sighs and says that at this rate, they will never be able to take Tanner out. However, Anna promises they will do it eventually. They just need to get rid of some wild cards before they can take that shot against him. She tells Karen to vote for Caden tonight so they don't ruffle any feathers with Tanner. With Caden desperate to stay, he talks with Boo Boo and Tanner and straight up tells the two of them that he's hearing rumors about Ivy and Mark being a solid alliance now. Boo Boo says that everyone knows it's a possibility at this point, so he's not alone in thinking this. Caden then offers they vote Ivy tonight if they believe this rumor is true, but Boo Boo and Tanner seem very uninterested in that. Boo Boo then fills Ivy in that people are becoming paranoid over her relationship with Mark. She instantly acts offended and says she has no connections with that man. The only reason she's not suggesting him as a target is because she respects the Hupai alliance. She knows Mark isn't a high priority for people. Boo Boo says they might need to put him higher on their priority list going forward so she doesn't become a target herself. Before Tribal, Allison takes one more crack at Anna. She tells her she is the deciding vote right now. They have the votes to take out Tanner as long as she follows through. Anna rubs her head and says they've had this conversation a million times now. Allison begs her to do what's right. It's unethical at this rate to ignore Karen's feelings. Anna sighs and rubs her forehead continuously. It's night 21, and it's time for Tribal Council. Everyone sits down and Justin firstly congratulates both Mark and Jaya for their great effort at today's challenge. He claims they lasted the longest in the treadmill challenge out of all the seasons they hosted it. Jaya smiles and says that even though she would have loved to pull out the win, she's very proud of herself. Justin turns to Caden and asks him how he felt when he lost the challenge today. Caden says he was devastated because he really needed immunity. He's on the chopping block yet again, which comes as no surprise to him. Justin then asks everyone collectively to raise their hand if they feel like they are on the chopping block tonight. Caden, Jaya, Tanner, and Sarah raise their hands. Justin asks Sarah why she feels uneasy, and Sarah says it's evident that Hupai is a strong alliance. It's going to be really difficult to break that up. Tanner speaks up and says Hupai isn't really a strong alliance if Caden is a primary target right now. Sarah says that Caden is obviously not in that group, but everyone else from Hupai is. Tanner says he personally feels nervous because he's a major threat in people's eyes for whatever reason. He doesn't agree that he's a threat, but that won't change people's minds. In addition, someone like Karen carries a lot of emotion when making game decisions, and she's one of the main people advocating for him to go. Karen doesn't speak and keeps her head down. Justin asks Allison if tonight's vote is simple or if it's more complicated than people think. Allison replies and says that this vote will either continue to strengthen the Hupai group or perhaps there will be a major blindside in the works. With that, Justin wraps up the discussion and says it's time for the vote.
I'll tally the votes. If anyone has a hidden immunity idol and they want to play it, now would be the time to do so. Alright, I'll read the votes. First vote. Caden. Caden. That's 2 votes Caden. Jaya. Caden. 3 votes Caden, 1 vote Jaya. Jaya. That's 3 votes Caden, 2 votes Jaya. Tanner. Tanner. 3 votes Caden, 2 votes Jaya, 2 votes Tanner. Tanner. We're tied. 3 votes Tanner, 3 votes Caden, 2 votes Jaya. Tanner. That's 4 votes Tanner, 3 votes Caden, 2 votes Jaya. Caden. Tied again. 4 votes Caden, 4 votes Tanner, 2 votes Jaya, 1 vote left. 10th person voted out of Survivor Rivals and the first member of the jury. Caden.
Caden gets up right away and Allison stares dead ahead. Tanner breathes out, relieved he stayed. Caden puts his torch down next to Justin and watches him snuff it. He heads out, saying goodbye to everyone before walking down the stairs. Karen looks down at the floor and Boo Boo pats her back. Adriana side-eyes Allison, knowing very well she tried to flip this vote. Justin then tells everyone to head back to camp, so they do. Next time on Survivor Rivals. Survivor is never an easy game. Nor is it predictable. Especially this season where rivalries impact the game heavily. With only 10 people remaining in the game, the stakes are higher than ever, and big moves are starting to be discussed. Stay tuned for Thursday's episode for a historic, chaotic, dramatic, extreme, and unmissable tribal council. It'll blow you away. Caden's final thoughts. Reaching jury is better than not reaching jury in Caden's opinion. Not only that, but he at least beat his rival, Eric, by 1 placement. Caden knew he was in trouble ever since the Liana vote off, but he kept trying to flip the majority alliance on each other. Tonight, he came very close to staying, and he's glad Allison proved herself as someone who is willing to make moves. He's definitely rooting for her the most right now, but time will tell if she'll be able to survive after this failed move against the majority.